onions, onions, and even more onions. That and a whole lot more coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. This program was funded by the following.
At dollarseed.com, all of our seeds are only $1 a pack. And we have online resources that teach you all about the rewarding hobby of growing your own plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Imagine the joy you'll feel when your children actually help you harvest your first garden crop, or the pride of knowing you'll never need a florist again. Visit dollarseed.com and grow a little magic of your own for just $1. Dollarseed.com. What could be healthier?
Willow Springs Soap Company is a locally owned Colorado business just a stone's throw away from the Rocky Mountains. Their handmade soap is made from simple, recognizable ingredients, which lead to a more natural, earth-friendly, long-lasting, and hard bar with a wonderful creamy lather. They make soap using the cold kettle process with a specially formulated recipe of 100% vegetable oils. They use traditional methods that produce a true soap instead of the commercial synthetic alternatives that can dry out skin. Go to www.willowspringssoap.com to get a fresh and natural clean, handmade in the Rockies.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener supports the following. Hunger Task Force believes that every person has the right to adequate food obtained with dignity. They're providing food for people in need. With their 151-acre working farm and fish hatchery in Franklin, Wisconsin, volunteers are needed daily. You could plant seeds in the greenhouse, ride the transplanter, or you can make an instant $10 donation from your mobile device by texting food to 52,000. For more information on how you can help end hunger, visit hungertaskforce.org. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joey Baird. This show is dedicated to the average gardener, simple home living, and using what you already have. We're going to plant some onions today, and there's a couple different ways to go about doing that. We're going to plant some organic onion bulb sets. We're going to plant some onions through seed tape, and we're going to plant some onions that we started in the trays in the house in front of the window in our mini greenhouse. Now, there's a couple of things you need to know about planting onions before you start throwing bulbs in the ground. One, they enjoy very loose, sandy, loomy soil, if all possible, and in mostly sun, if not full sun. This soil, we've double dug it, we've broken up most of the large clods, and this will be a really good place for the onions to grow. Also, onions like a pH level of about 6.5. Now, we've checked the soil level, or the pH level in our soil here, and we're running a little above that, about 7. So I've added some sulfur to the soil to knock that pH level down, and you can add sulfur and it will tell you the rates on the back of the package. Also, onions love nitrogen, so you can, early on in the growing season, to about midsummer, so you can add some coffee grounds into the soil, and that'll up the nitrogen level. So let me pull the pH tester out, and we're going to get started planting some onions in the garden. So we're going to plant the first little bit of white onions with some seed tape that we created. Now, it's very easy to make the seed tape, and this is how easy it is to plant with seed tape. We've spaced these seeds about every 4 to 6 inches, and to get giant bulbs, that's about what it's going to take, your spacing. Now, if you want smaller bulbs, or you just want to use the greens as salad, you can put them together closer and thin out the middle ones. So let's just cover this up. And that's how easy seed tape is. You don't have to fight with the little seeds. And anytime you're working in an area that you've double dug, you always want to use a mat to distribute your weight so it doesn't compact underneath and ruin the job that you've already done. So let me get the rest of these in here. And all the seed tape is just toilet paper with a mixture of flour and water, and then you just place your seed in between, or you place your seed on the toilet paper, and then you just close it together. So let me get all this planted, and then we'll plant some that we've started in trays, and I'll show you how you do that. Alright, we got our seed tape in the ground. Now if you wanted to direct sow your seeds like that, but just by hand you could, you would probably not be able to space them as easily because they're such small seeds. You can use a planting device such as this, and you can adjust the size of the hole, and that'll dictate how many seeds come out. Also, we're going to start putting the seed or the onions in the ground that we have started from seed in the house. Now onions are very hardy. They can withstand temperatures as low as 25. So if you only have time to plant them on a Saturday and you know it's going to be cold this next week, you can still get them in the ground. They won't die, they just won't grow. But extended periods of temperatures below 25, they won't survive. So they're a hardy plant. So that's good news if you want to get them in early. And also that's why some of them that you've planted last year have already come up, because they're hardy plants and they haven't froze when it's gotten that 28 to 32 degree temperatures. So the best way I found whenever planting onions that I've grown from seed out of these trays is just take a spoon and just slide in the side and just pull it out. And we just take and plant it right in the ground and just put some soil around it. And you want to be sure you water these in. And we always have our marker here so we know what it is and where our row is at. So let me get another one here. And it's really easy to plant onions. And we're going to get some of these in the ground, and then we're going to work on our organic bulbs and plant those in the ground. And I'll show you how easy it is to plant bulbs. And it might be the way you want to go if you want to get a lot of onions in the ground really quickly. So we're going to plant our organic white onion bulbs here. And this may be the way you want to go, like I said, because it's an easy, fast, they're already established bulbs. And these are the organic kind. And these are a little more expensive than the non-organic. But the quality of the seeds or the bulbs in here are much better than the non-organic. So it's basically pretty simple. It's kind of like the seed method. You just place it in the ground every 4 to 6 inches. Some of them's already got a little growth on them, and you'll see on these, you'll see a root point, bottom, and then you'll see a point. You always want that root to go in the ground, and just nestle them in the ground. And we're going to plant about half of them on this side of the garden, and then we're going to go up on the high end of the garden and plant some other ones. And I'll show you what I found whenever you're in the garden double digging. You always find surprises, and I'll show you what that is in a moment. But I'm going to get these planted here, and then we're just going to cover them up. So we got the onions in the ground, the bulb set, and it's just going to be real easy. We're going to take the back of our hard tine rake and just cover them up a little bit on both sides, mark them with the row with our window blind, and we're going to plant on the other side of the garden, the far end. And the reason why we're doing that is there's times where things may grow better in different areas. Whether it be the soil is more moist here or more moist up there, or we may get an insect that really eradicates the crop and it won't get up there. So it's always better if you have the opportunity in a large area to plant the same item in multiple areas, and then really you can see where it does best at, and you can plan for next year as well. So we're up on the high end of the garden here, and we're going to plant some onions in this little spot beside where the sweet corn is going to go and beside where the strawberry patch is. I was double digging and I hit a rock, and I just thought it'd be a small little rock, but as you can see, it's not just a small little rock, it's a pretty big boulder, and I've done all I can to try to extract that from the ground, and it's not coming. So the best scenario in this situation is just cover it up, let it be, double dig around it, because that is a significant size rock. So we're just going to cover it back up, and I'm going to finish double digging around the hole, get the soil prepped, and then we're going to plant the rest of the white organic onion sets. So we're going to use the planting grid up here on the high end of the garden, and all this is, it's a piece of cardboard that I've got cut out 2-inch centers, and it works well for onions, beets, radishes, whatever you want to plant in it. And this will give the onions proper width between each other to grow. And it works very well if you're limited on space. You can really consolidate the items that you're growing. And it's just made out of pieces of cardboard that we painted, and it worked quite well. And it's very easy to make one yourself. So we're going to finish planting the rest of these onions up here. And then once you've got them pushed down properly, then you just take and cover them up, and they'll be really nice and consolidated. You'll be able to weed real easy. You'll be able to mulch them even better. And we'll go another 12 here. You always just want to make sure you put the root portion down when planting them. And this planting grid would work good if you were planting onions just by seed itself. So it's just that easy. If you haven't planted onions before, go ahead and try it. It may be one of the most unappreciated vegetables in your garden, but one with the most benefits.
Granola is a healthy snack that you can eat. You can eat it with yogurt or just by itself, or add some fruit and nuts to it, and something that's delicious and portable that you can take with you to the garden as a quick little snack. A lot of the granola that you can buy in the store does have a lot of sugar and a lot of fat in it, so if you make it yourself, you can actually control those things on your own. So in this bowl we have 4 cups of old-fashioned oats, about a half a teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then I have a cup of chopped pecans. If you like pecans, you can use almonds, you can use walnuts, you can use, even if you want, maybe some sunflower seeds. Doesn't have to be exactly pecans, but this is kind of the granola that I like. So you just stir together the dry ingredients just to get them well combined, because you're going to add some warm liquid ingredients. So in here on the stove we have warmed together some vegetable oil. Actually, I think I used olive oil, agave nectar, and if you don't have agave nectar, you can use honey. And then I added maple syrup to it and brown sugar. I heated it till it was all combined, and as you can see, it made a syrupy type thing here. So then you just combine the two, and before you get started with all this, you want to just preheat your oven to 300 degrees and make sure it's just ready and preheated to go. And it's really important to make sure that you combine these on the stove together, because it helps mix the oil with the syrup and the sugar and all that stuff. So let me just get this combined here. Alright. And you want to do it on low on the stove so you don't burn it, because that would be bad. Then you just mix this together. Pretty simple. And if you want the recipe, you can simply just email us or ask on our Facebook page, and you'll have that information at the end of the show. So let me just get this combined here. Now, I don't always like adding raisins or anything else to or dried fruit to my granola, because if I want that, I just add it separately. But some people, if it's optional, you can add raisins or dried cranberries or dried cherries, anything like that. But like I said, I like to add that separately if I want to. Okay. Then what you want to do is you want to take a cookie sheet, and if you have one of these nice non-stick mats, go ahead and put it on there. If you don't have one, use parchment paper. Please do not use wax paper. If you use wax paper, it's going to melt and stick to your cookie sheet, and obviously you don't want that. If you don't have that, then just maybe use a non-stick cooking spray, or if you have tin foil or something like that, you can go ahead and do that. So then you just put on here. And then you just want to spread it around into one even layer. So now we're going to go ahead and get this put into the oven. So we're just going to put this in the oven. You're going to leave it in there for 40 minutes. It's going to crisp up nicely, and you want to check it halfway through. You might want to flip it. You obviously want to make sure it's not going to burn. So we'll be back when it's all done and cooked up for you. So now it's been in the oven for 40 minutes and we pulled it out, and as you can see, it got brown. It's got that nice crispy granola texture. And what we're going to do is we're going to let it cool, and then we're going to store in an airtight container. You can store it in the freezer for up to 3 months, or you can store it in an airtight container for about a week to 2 weeks, just depending. And it's a nice healthy snack. It definitely tastes good in yogurt, mixed in with some fruits. You know, even just some dried fruit would be good too.
How many times have you planted peas or beans or even sweet corn and you've dreaded the job because you knew you'd be bent over trying to put seeds in the ground? Well, I've come up with a solution to that problem. It's a planting stick, and you can make one out of items you have already in your house. 3 extension wands off of a vacuum, multiple vacuums that is. Now you can use the extension wands that you're currently using on your vacuum, or you can even use a piece of PVC pipe. That works quite well also. Then you can take a 2-liter or a 3-liter bottle, even a 1-liter would be functional for this, and you want to cut it directly in half, lengthwise, but leaving the spout intact for a very important reason. I'll tell you that more in a moment. And then you'll just cut a hole and slide it onto the pipe that you're mounting it on. Now I added an additional handle to this. This is off of a weed whacker that I disassembled and recycled. That's optional. You don't have to have a handle. You can simply hold on to it just like I am. So you just take your seeds, whatever you're planting, whether it's beans or sweet corn, or in this instance peas, and you'll just simply go straddle the row, drop them down, and move up approximate distance that your seeds require. And it's a very easy way to go about planting, and you don't strain your back no matter how few or how many seeds you'll plant. Now I told you that you want to cut the bottle in half and leave the spout intact, because once you get done planting, you're probably going to have extra seeds left over. So you just remove the cap of the soda bottle, take the container that your seeds came in, and simply pour them back in for proper storage. So it's just that simple to keep the pain out of your back and more seeds in the ground when it comes to planting large seed items in your garden. You can plant Swiss chard in containers or in the ground. We're going to plant ours in some containers. Now what is Swiss chard? Swiss chard is part of the beet family and the spinach family. It gets tall leaves about the size of your hand, a little bit bigger, and you can also eat the stem as well. It can withstand heat. Unlike spinach, this will grow all summer long. You can harvest it as it grows. In some milder climates, you can grow it in the winter if you're in the farther south. So we're going to grow ours in containers, and we've got our planting grid. And the benefit to this planting grid, you can evenly space whatever you're planting. So we're going to plant, I'm going to plant 1 seed per hole here, and these are on 2-inch centers, and you can make this very easily with some cardboard. And then over here where the planting grid's not big enough, I'm just going to go off the same holes and get 4 there. And when these Swiss chard grows, it'll grow in a very tall leafy plant, and then by the midsummer this thing will be completely covered with Swiss chard. Now we've got Rainbow Blend and we've got Swiss Chard Fort Hook. Now the Rainbow Blend, there's red, yellow, white variety. That's the color of the stem of them, and depending on where you're at, some of them will grow faster than others. I've read that the red will grow slower, the white will grow faster. I've read the yellow grows faster. So it's just really where you're at and how the conditions are. Let me get a few more out here. We're going to plant the Rainbow Blend in the closer container, and then the Fort Hook in the farther container there. So let me get this planted and we'll get it all covered up. So I've almost got the Fort Hook variety planted. Now if you're growing these in containers, you can, these will grow in partial shade. So that's a benefit if you have a patio or you're limited on the amount of sunlight you can put your plants in. So it's just that easy. We'll keep them watered, and in a couple of weeks. These will take anywhere from, depending what variety you have, between 33 and 65 days to mature. It'll be nice, tall, and you can actually even juice these instead of mixing them in a salad if you want to go that route. So planting Swiss chard, if you haven't done it, I recommend doing it along with planting spinach, because this will last all summer long. You can eat off of it throughout the summer months. When planting your row crops, such as carrots or beets or kohlrabi, there's a couple of different methods that you could use. A couple I'm going to show you right now. Well, let's say we're going to plant some kohlrabi right here. You could take your rake, figure out where your row is going to be, take your rake handle and nestle it down to the depth that you're needing. Remove it, plant your seeds, mark it with your row markers, and then just slightly cover over the top of the soil with your hands. You've created a row. It's very easy, it's very identifiable, and it's ready to go. Another way you could plant seeds would be you could purchase a pointed hoe, or we made this one out of a broken normal hoe, and you could take and run the point and create a row like that. Now if you want your rows to be as straight as possible, there is a technique to that. Take you 2 rods, whether it be sticks or metal, and tie a rope, string, or whatever you have available onto it. Place it at the beginning of the row, at the area you want to start your row, and then just extend it out to the other end. And then you can take your pointed hoe and just go along the line, and you can make a row just as straight as your string. Remove the string, plant your seeds, cover them up, and you'll have a straight row, and you can progress throughout the garden by doing this. And it'll make your garden look a little bit better if that's something you want. And you can also use seed tape as well, and that's a very quick method of planting small seeds. Another way of planting your bush beans is a trench method. The trench method is simply taking your hoe and making a trench the width of it. And you'll plant your beans, you'll crisscross them, one here, one on the other side, and at an angle back and forth. The benefit to this method, you'll get more beans in a consolidated space, they'll have plenty of room to grow, and they'll be more densely packed, so they're more to pick when it's time to harvest. So these are just a couple of general ideals on how you can be more efficient in planting your seeds this spring in the garden. Well, that's all the time we have. Hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. And planting onions is an easy vegetable to grow, and with proper maintenance and storage you can have fresh onions all winter long. And that granola treat you can take to the garden or even on trips with you, and that'll save you a lot of money, and it's a lot healthier than some of the snacks you can purchase. For all of us here at the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, I'm Joy Barrett, encouraging you, take a child gardening and start growing some memories. This program was funded by the following.
At dollarseed.com, all of our seeds are only $1 a pack. And we have online resources that teach you all about the rewarding hobby of growing your own plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Imagine the joy you'll feel when your children actually help you harvest your first garden crop, or the pride of knowing you'll never need a florist again. Visit dollarseed.com and grow a little magic of your own for just $1. Dollarseed.com. What could be healthier?
Willow Springs Soap Company is a locally owned Colorado business just a stone's throw away from the Rocky Mountains. Their handmade soap is made from simple, recognizable ingredients, which lead to a more natural, earth-friendly, long-lasting, and hard bar with a wonderful creamy lather. They make soap using the cold kettle process with a specially formulated recipe of 100% vegetable oils. They use traditional methods that produce a true soap instead of the commercial synthetic alternatives that can dry out skin. Go to www.willowspringssoap.com to get a fresh and natural clean, handmade in the Rockies.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener supports the following. Hunger Task Force believes that every person has the right to adequate food obtained with dignity. They're providing food for people in need. With their 151-acre working farm and fish hatchery in Franklin, Wisconsin, volunteers are needed daily. You could plant seeds in the greenhouse, ride the transplanter, or you can make an instant $10 donation from your mobile device by texting food to 52,000. For more information on how you can help end hunger, visit hungertaskforce.org. The show never ends on our Facebook page. Keyword Wisconsin Vegetable Gardeners. Like the page and continue the discussion there. You can now follow us on Twitter, see what we're up to and what we're doing at the garden. The address, the W-I Veg Gardener, G-A-R-D-E-N-R. You can email us at the W-I Veg Gardener at gmail.com with your questions, comments, or suggestions about the show.